The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Good evening. Welcome to this edition of TV1 News. I'm Maricela Calaton.
And I'm Carol Kidu Jr. Join me for your sports news after the break.
In this edition, police fail to use CCTV. Panguna LO sign deal. And Ferns captain thanks PNG. Despite the availability of CCTVs in most of the hotspot areas around Morocco, police officers have failed to monitor these cameras. Former Assistant Commissioner of Police for NCD Central Anthony Wagambi Jr. revealed this while testifying at the Commission of Inquiry this week.
When giving his views on the high crime rate in the city, Wagambi Jr. said despite the availability of CCTVs around the Morocco area, they are not being monitored, leading to a rise in criminal activities. Wagambi Jr. said the death of the 18-year-old female at the Tabari bus stop recently would have been avoided if police officers monitored the CCTV.
Those CCTV there, and with certain incidences which has happened recently around that area, the CCTV is working, but the police were not monitoring it. If they were monitoring the CCTV, then we would be able to pinpoint would-be troublemakers and have them apprehended and dealt with straight away.
Wagambi said it is the responsibility of the station commanders and the supervisors to ensure that their officers are monitoring the cameras and actually doing their jobs. He said it was not about the training of officers on the use of the CCTVs.
CCTV initiatives, which I think is the National Capital and Port Moresby City needs it.
Yes, sir.
But interestingly, you said it's not being manned by the police.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain why is that?
Yes,
is
sir.
it because they don't know how to monitor or use that, or they are not trained, or what?
It's back to command and control at the station level.
They just ignore.
It's up to the supervisors and the station commanders to ensure that the people are sitting there and doing the job.
Yeah.
Wagambi Jr. said the NCDC and Central Command has strategic plans in place to curb the emerging lawlessness in this city. One plan is about smart policing with the inclusion of CCTV, proactive policing, community policing, engaging with the community, and working partnership with the security firms to safeguard the city. Wagambi Jr. said it is the responsibility of the top management to ensure that police officers are implementing those plans to curb the emerging crime rate in the city. Tracy Pa, TV1 News.
Meanwhile, Wagambi Jr. added that crime is increasing in a split second, especially in the nation's capital, because police have limited manpower on the ground. He said the police force plans to increase the force, but at this stage, the force is replacing rather than increasing.
Police numbers has not really increased over the years. We are replacing those who are exiting. So we must hold the community as close as we can to us and work with the community so they understand the importance of abiding by laws and keeping the community safe for everyone.
Millions of kina belonging to the Modilon General Hospital in Medan have been allegedly misappropriated under the watch of the former Medan Provincial Health Authority CEO Fidelis Waipma, who was arrested by police yesterday and charged with misappropriation. He is now out on bail of 5,000 kina. It is alleged that funds belonging to Modilon General Hospital were misappropriated between 2019 and July 2024.
Police investigators have arrested and brought former Medan Provincial Health Authority CEO Fidelis Waipma in for questioning on Tuesday. According to Medan PPC, Robert Baim, Waipma is now out on a 5,000 kina bail and will appear before the courts once the documents are processed. As police investigations continue, more people are expected to be identified and brought in for questioning. The arrest follows weeks of investigation by Medan fraud officers. After taking office mid this year, the new Medan Provincial Health Authority Board laid a formal complaint. While a formal complaint was laid with police officers years back for Modilon Hospital funds to be investigated, the case grew cold and never progressed until the swearing-in of a new board in July 2024, when the new Provincial Health Authority Board chairman requested the police to reopen the case. PPC Baim said this was an overdue case, but they made a breakthrough in the efforts of the Director for Crimes, Detective Superintendent Joel Simata. PPC Baim is appealing to people who might intend to interfere with police investigations to refrain and allow the case to proceed, stating that the only avenue where the suspect can clear his name is through the courts. Meantime, Waipma produced a court order from the National Court of Justice at Waikani, filed on the 22nd of February 2022, restraining Dr. Charles Kalana, the Medan Provincial Health Authority Board Chairman, and members of the board from tampering with operational accounts and changing any signatories, but this court order was found defective. Waipma's term as CEO for Medan Provincial Health Authority expired on the 2nd July 2024, paving the way for a new board to be appointed. Susan Oreape, TVWAN News.
Prime Minister James Marape has congratulated the U.S. President-elect Donald J. Trump on his election as the 47th President of the United States of America. Marape also expressed gratitude to outgoing President Joe Biden for his dedicated service and commended Vice President Kamala Harris for the spirited challenge she posed during this election cycle, highlighting her historic contributions and resilience.
Before, nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump defeated his Democratic rival, Vice President Kamala Harris, in both the Electoral College and the popular vote, becoming the 47th President of the United States of America. Prime Minister James Marape, in congratulating this win, said his government looks forward to reinforcing the long-standing partnership between the two nations, which are grounded in shared values and mutual respect.
I want to say that USA and Papua New Guinea have elevated our own relationships. We do appreciate the Biden administration under his presidency that we urge the PNG USA Defense Cooperation Agreement. And with my letter to the White House, we'll detail the work that we've done in the last 4 years under President Biden.
Prime Minister Marape further remarked on the partnership between the two nations, emphasizing how, under President Biden's administration, the United States and Papua New Guinea solidified their collaboration with achievements such as the signing of the Defense Cooperation Agreement in May 2023, which reinforced their shared goals for regional stability and security. Marape said U.S. support in healthcare and infrastructure has also contributed greatly to Papua New Guinea's development goals. He added that Papua New Guinea Guinea is committed to strengthening its relationship with the United States to pursue the shared goals of peace, prosperity, and sustainable growth within the Pacific region and beyond. Prime Minister Marape also expressed appreciation for President Joe Biden's leadership, thanking him for fostering cooperation between the United States and Papua New Guinea, which he says has boosted progress in healthcare, security, and sustainable development. Reflecting on the impact of Vice President Kamala Harris, Prime Minister Marape acknowledged an important role in the election, noting her determination and strong leadership. He said her efforts not only underscored the significance of democracy, but also continued to inspire women, youth, and leaders around the world, including Papua New Guinea. Ruth Rongola, TV1 News.
Member for Wewak, Stanley Samban, and member for Kerawagi, Francis Tiune, have been sworn in as vice ministers today at the Government House. Governor General Grand Chief Sir Bob Dadai sworn the two MPs and signed the instruments to formally recognize them as vice ministers.
With workload in various government departments, Prime Minister James Marape has appointed several members of parliament as vice ministers, assisting several ministers. So far, 11 MPs have been sworn in as vice ministers, including the two today. MP for Wewak, Stanley Samban, was sworn in as vice minister for defense, while MP for Kerawagi, Francis Tiune, as vice minister for public service. Prime Minister James Marape, when congratulating the vice ministers, acknowledged their commitment and effort as first-term members of parliament and assured them that their commitment would be rewarded.
The two members who now just got sworn in step into the class of vice ministers who assisting ministers in the respective portfolios as we work for our country. Some will say that one too many, whether in cabinet or in the vice ministry portfolios. I choose to differ. The workload since 1975 has increased substantially. 1975, you had a population of 3 million people, an economy under 5 billion. But equally so the demand, whether it's in the law and order space, or in the education sector space, or in growing the economy, or building the enabling infrastructure. The workload and demand has increased.
The Prime Minister went on and encouraged the vice ministers of the importance of the position they had been elevated to and of the task ahead of them.
Papua New Guinea is like a big ship that is sailing towards a destination called prosperity for our people. That destination, the fathers of our country, as they assembled the constitution in 1975, came under one sovereignty, envisaged a country that is healthy, wealthy, prosperous for all citizens, not just one group or two groups. And that dream and aspiration still remains so. The father of our nation, late great Grand Chief Sir Michael Somare and his generation, outlaid that vision.
Governor for NCD, Powis Pakop, thanked PM Marape for the decision to appoint Samban as the vice minister and assured him of the support from his Social Democratic Party.
Portfolio like the defense portfolio is a very important portfolio. Ministry of Defense and the PNG Defense Force is a very important state institution. Security is very important for any state anywhere in the world. We must not compromise the security of the state.
The remaining vice minister portfolio will be made sometimes next week. Freddie Mo, TV1 News.
Meantime, Vice Minister for Defense Stanley Samban thanked the Prime Minister for his trust and confidence in appointing them as Parliament as secretaries.
In whatever way I can do, in my ability to support the Minister of Defense, to push forward the work he has already started, to support him, and then we push through to 2027. And to the people who work, thank you. Luksa Blubla, Makimi, and this ministry, Vice Ministry Non-Black Sim, is dedicated back to the people who work.
Appointment also comes with responsibility too. So we will try to do the best we can do to uphold the national outcomes of our government, to continue to maintain stability and service to law moving way forward.
This is TVWAN News. After the break, Panguna landowners sign deal and school transition crisis. Stay tuned.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSP Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSP branch today to register now for BSP Mobile Banking. BSP Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SP Lager, Bungi Mumi.
Open nets.
Hiya, Mama.
You wait then, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magical cuddle, get up and big smile on face. Time for kimchi and a great Kumul too. Sip, sip, the moo, yes, magic on you.
Maggi, the taste PNG loves.
Right across the nation, we eat snacks crackers. Emi trupla. All get a young plana lapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
Welcome back. Over 300 traditional landowners from Panguna this week signed a land access and compensation agreement with Bougainville Copper Limited, marking a significant milestone in the project's exploration phase. This signing follows the ABG's decision to grant BCL with an exploration license, EL01, in January of this year. President of the Autonomous Region of Bougainville, Ismail Tororama, who also serves as Minister for Mining and Energy Resources, acknowledged that another step in the Panguna project's mining life cycle has now begun. He commended both the landowners and BCL for their efforts in reaching this stage. The President commended the Panguna landowners for reaching agreement with BCL and BCL for complying with the law towards undertaking its activities within the EL01 area. Once this LACA is signed, it will be registered by the Bougainville Chief Warden within the required legal timeframe to enable BCL to progress this project.
We have renewed BCL's EL01 over Panguna. For EL01, journey through the exploration phase under Bougainville's Homegrown Mining Act has begun. BCL has officially entered the Bougainville mining life cycle. I urge BCL to comply and fulfill all license requirements requirements as stipulated under Yellow 01.
President Torama urged BCL to maintain cooperative relations with landowners, emphasizing the importance of these relations in ensuring the smooth progress of the Panguna project. He further encouraged all stakeholders to continue working together in unity and in compliance with the law to progress the project for the benefit of Bougainville. Secretary for the ABG Department of Mining and Petroleum, Peter Colotain, highlighted that after 35 years since closure of the former Panguna mine, there is now tangible redevelopment progress being made through an all-inclusive consultative process under the leadership of President Torama as minister responsible. The LACA agreement outlines how both parties, the landowners and BCL as the license holder, will collaborate throughout the exploration process, including mechanisms for grievances and communication methods for the duration of the exploration period. Maricela Kelaton, TVWAN News. The Lutheran Health Services of Medan Sepik region conducted an annual review last week at the Lutheran Guest House to bring to light achievements and mostly challenges, to strategize on solutions on how best they can progress in line with the National Health Plan 2010 to 2030.
The meeting saw officers in charge of all the Lutheran Health Services facilities throughout the region do a presentation regarding their health centers. Regional Health Secretary Sister Rodney Masu said they have discussed so much over the one-week review and will now prioritize the limited resources they have in assisting each other.
We have discussed a lot of things, and some things that we are trying to prioritize under very limited resources, but they have been edged on how best they can step in to get that rolled out. Whatever that we will help, we will support them, but I have seen the strength in them when we sat through this week, through their presentation and discussing some of the things that they have actually improvised.
This was also an opportunity for the OICs to put forward their struggles, especially those living in remote areas of the two provinces. A lot of times it was their lives being put on the line to serve the population they lived in. Rafael Banga, the OIC for Kambuka Health Center in Enguram, Isipik, said it takes several hours traveling to and use different modes of transport to get there due to the geographical terrains. Kambuka had the opportunity to show how patients and staff endured the harsh environment when lives were at risk. On top of this, their facilities are run down and in dire need of urgent maintenance.
Those are medical supplies that transported from Enguram up to Kambuku, so carry those boxes there and by walking towards the facility. During our referral from Kambuku down to Enguram, the transport that it's sometimes, not sometimes, but mainly available there to transport our sick patient from Riva down to Vivek General Hospital is Saman Balu Service.
Sister Annalyn Kunsu from Begazin Health Center in the Usino Bundi district shared a plight as well. Begazin is located in one of the remotest regions in the district, and Sister Annalyn attends to many communities within and outside their catchment areas. Sister Kunsi showed how the facility is being managed in tough conditions. Most cases that are seen at the health center are infection diseases and knife wounds or cutting as commonly known. On top of this, their facilities are heavily run down and in dire need of urgent maintenance.
We have no other means of transportation, it's only by walking. So, because sa karibal patient ka siya, or drugs nito, mag-transporting man kayo, karing lahat o dipatu na bilunan, or karing na wakabot so.
While Sister Maso acknowledged the OIC's circumstances, she is grateful for their endurance and is confident that despite the pressing challenges such as district poses, they will take the issue into consideration and strive to ensure that the National Health Plan 2021 to 2030 is achieved. Tracy Pa, TV1 News.
Kokoda Track Foundation's Project Zero, funded by the Australian government, is addressing gender-based violence in PNG through education and community support. In partnership with Family PNG, Project Zero delivers awareness workshops on human rights and laws like the Lukautim Pikinini Act and the Family Protection Act to empower over 155 community leaders, educators and locals. Family PNG has also coordinated meetings with 95 frontline service providers, strengthening collaboration to foster a zero-tolerance approach to violence in communities. Aurora Primary School was recently elevated from a primary school to a junior high, as approved by the Department of Education. However, with this transition, the school needs more classrooms to cater for grade 9 intakes.
The school is among a few education institutions due to its academic performance by the Department of Education. The school board is embracing the change, however, is facing a dilemma. Aurora Primary School is calling on the Department of Education to assist with more school infrastructure.
The government, through its new reforms of 166, have told us to take grade 9s. However, we don't have the infrastructure. You may have better policies, but if you don't have the infrastructure, then we cannot implement. But Aurora Primary School has gone ahead, and we have catered for our grade 9. Our dilemma now is, where will our grade 10s be?
Board Chairman Philip Vaki advised that the school must be better prepared to cater for new intakes into junior high school and would require more classrooms, an IT lab, library, science lab, teachers' houses, and many more.
Education is the key for this future generation. If we can invest in them better now, tomorrow will be better. If we neglect them today, tomorrow we'll have lawlessness, we'll have problems in the community. So I challenge the government, I challenge the education department, I challenge our member, I challenge our local level government council. Let us all work together.
Mosby Northwest covers 27 schools, which is more schools than other areas in the city. Member for Mosby Northwest, Lohia Boy Samuel, is adamant and has assisted the school with 60,000 kina.
The Office of Northwest is very happy to present a check of 60,000 kina to the chairman of Aurora Primary School, Mr. Vaki.
Member Samuel reiterated that he understands the hardships schools face and is currently assisting other schools from the electorate.
What we are trying to do here as well for next year, the Office of Mosby Northwest, we will be building here 6 by 1, something similar as well. Because we're, as your deputy principal has reminded us, you are now a junior primary, and we don't want students to be sitting under mango trees to do your studies, so we are very mindful of that. And we would want to come and donate another 9,000-liter tank, because your school number is increasing as well.
Jasmine Erujak, TV1 News.
Students of Watape Primary School of Smak Village in West Sepik Province will soon be celebrating a major milestone with their newly constructed school library. This marks a transformative moment for the school and its surrounding community, who for years have endured significant hardships to access educational resources. Located deep in the rural heart of West Sepik Province, Watape Primary School students and teachers have long relied on trips into Vanimo town, several hours away, to gain access to research facilities, information and resources critical to enhancing the students' learning experience. For many students, this meant waking up as early as 3 a.m. to embark on long walks to reach the pickup point for logging trucks heading to town, while their urban counterparts enjoy the comforts of modern learning amenities. These challenges are now a thing of the past thanks to the dedicated efforts of the community and the Rural Service Delivery Project's partnership with Book Belong Pikinini and PNG Air. Through this collaboration, Watape Primary School has received vital book kits as part of its self-initiated school library project, ensuring students now have direct access to reading materials and learning resources within their community. The head teacher of Watape Primary School, Ms. Calchain, said the books would be a great help for students' learning needs, as most students in the school were slow learners, having to miss out on such learning resources and accessibility to information and need more time in reading. And now the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.2530 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our kina was buying $0.2455 US, $0.3709 Australian dollars, $0.2213 euro, and 37.65 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, palm oil, crude oil, and copper closed higher. Gold, coffee, and cocoa closed lower, and copper closed the day unchanged. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, ASX closed higher, and all ordinaries closed higher as well. You're watching TV1 News. Stay tuned. We'll have news making headlines overseas when we come back.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSP Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSP branch today to register now for BSP Mobile Banking. BSP Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo in milk taste and added nutrients, Milo in milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Find PNG made.
Enjoy life when we work together, making happy memories that last forever. Harem talk, young or old, a scale rice family meal with toast. We'll bring out the smiles, cause it's a favorite by miles. Seni sigola, scale rice, low scale price. Seni sigola, scale rice, low scale price. But you like him?
Bro, it's awesome, man.
Pepsi promotion.
I'm so excited. Let's go, let's go.
And the Pepsi from Max.
Pepsi from Max.
And how do you win this? 2 plus Pepsi, that's all.
2 cans, bro.
2 plus, that's all.
You get yourself a chance to win this box of Max. It's crazy cool. My God. Pair of headphones. It's a towel.
How about that?
Cool box.
Yeah!
In its first 10 years, the PNG LNG project has had a long-lasting impact, contributing more than 26 billion kina to the state of Papua New Guinea. Equity distributions are paid to KPHL and MRDC based on the interest they hold. Tax is paid to the IRC, while development levy and royalties are paid to DPE. For more information on direct and indirect benefits, visit PNG EITI's website.
Thanks for staying with us. Pacific leaders have extended congratulations to President-elect Donald Trump on his electoral victory, signaling their commitment to enhancing ties with the U.S. and addressing shared goals in the Indo-Pacific region. Papua New Guinea's Prime Minister James Marape extended similar sentiments, expressing optimism about fostering continued collaboration under the Trump administration. Fiji's Prime Minister Sitiveni Rabuka conveyed his well wishes, highlighting hopes for a peaceful and prosperous tenure under Trump's leadership. Tonga also congratulated Trump on his election win, emphasizing Tonga's intent to advance its relationship with the U.S. in the coming years. The federal government says it will introduce new legislation after the High Court struck down a law allowing those released from immigration detention to be monitored by electronic ankle bracelets. The ruling comes as it was revealed more than 200 people have now been released since the High Court's shock decision last year that indefinite immigration detention is unlawful.
The result the government wanted. The law had given the minister power to order individuals released from indefinite immigration detention to wear an electronic bracelet and live under a curfew. It was introduced after it emerged the group included convicted murderers and rapists, some of whom re-offended. After the ruling, the opposition urged the government to say what it will do now.
What plan do they have? What contingencies do they have? How are they going to keep the Australian community safe?
So far, 224 people have been released from indefinite immigration detention because there is no prospect of them being removed from Australia. 150 of those were ordered to wear an electronic ankle bracelet and 130 were subject to a curfew. But today the court found the measures amount to punishment, which under the Constitution can only be dished out by the courts.
The government must act immediately to abide by the ruling of the High Court, which found that those conditions were unlawful and unconstitutional.
The government says it's prepared, and the Immigration Minister has already signed off on a new regulation to allow the continued use of electronic monitoring devices and curfews.
In addition to that, I'll be introducing some legislation to Parliament tomorrow. That new legislation will back up what's in the regulation, and the new laws will also increase the government's powers.
Tony Burke's also promising more resources and stronger powers to remove people to a third country. But the government's High Court woes aren't over yet, with more challenges linked to last year's decision ahead, including two as early as next week.
A unique type of macadamia nut almost wiped out in bushfires 5 years ago is coming back from the edge of extinction. With fewer than 200 native species left in the wild, researchers, environmentalists and First Nations people in central Queensland are working to protect the plants.
Saplings have been carefully cultivated.
We've taken cuttings from the wild population to represent the genetic variation in the wild population, and we're trying to replicate that here.
Dozens of macadamia jansenii plants are being planted at an Indigenous-owned property called Thornhill Station near Miriam Vale. The species is endangered and only found within Bulburra National Park. Researchers realised just how vulnerable the population was after bushfires burned more than 7,000 hectares of the park in late 2019.
It's a real concern for us that it's not found anywhere else, and that, you know, it's been impacted heavily by fires in the past.
While the species can't be harvested because of its poisonous properties,
it does tend to be bitter. It's because macadamia produces a cyanide product.
It needs to be safeguarded for environmental purposes.
Even just to help the ecosystem to come back to the way it used to be. We know it doesn't happen overnight, it's just, at least we can start by planting it slowly just to help it for the future.
Botanic gardens, like the ones here in Bundaberg, help to propagate backup populations of endangered species.
Being able to connect with First Nations people on country and enable this conservation work is just a really fulfilling thing for all of us involved in.
South Australia's Police Commissioner says the state government should consider making it an offence to buy cheap tobacco. There's been 19 arson attacks across Adelaide since July, which police have linked to organised crime syndicates in the black market trade of illegal tobacco.
Cracking down on illegal smokes. The government showing its latest haul of illicit tobacco and vapes from a raid in the mid-north.
We are determined to ensure that South Australia is the most hostile environment for organised crime groups who are seeking to sell illegal tobacco or move it throughout our state.
We've seized about $1 million worth of cash, $3.8 million worth of illicit tobacco products. I think we're hitting this pretty hard.
Police have linked 19 recent arson attacks across Adelaide to organised crime syndicates. Now, the Police Commissioner says his team has submitted a raft of recommendations to the government on additional law reform measures that could be considered, including making it an offence to purchase cheap tobacco.
When we see organised crime getting involved, which we did forecast based on what we've seen in Victoria, then we have skin in the game.
The government says that's not on the cards.
Tobacco addiction has always been in our community dealt with as a health issue, and we'll be continuing to deal with it on that basis.
But they're not ruling out further reform.
We'll need to sit down with police, go through their suggestions, and then obviously take that through the parliamentary process.
And Minister Picton says legislation could potentially change quickly.
We've still got a number of sitting weeks this year. If there are suggestions that police have that can be readily made, then we're very open to working with them on it.
The government says it seized $5 million worth of illegal product since the beginning of July and are calling on the public to make anonymous reports if they suspect a premise is trading illicit cigarettes.
That intelligence really helps us target our resources.
The war on black market tobacco continuing.
That ends the news segment. Next in sports with Carol, newbie surprises Dimitriou and Kumul's face tough test.
Rugby league is a powerful force that unites Papua New Guinea and develops our youth. Through partnerships with the PNG LNG Kumul's Grassroots Rugby League and Justin Olam, we aim to instill skills to last a lifetime.
I'm community blue. When it's a new game, I'm a community. You must all community.
When we invest in people, we invest in tomorrow's possibilities.
Kumul Petroleum is a major regional petroleum industry player involved in large-scale upstream, midstream and downstream petroleum and energy developments in the country. We are committed to ensuring that Papua New Guineans maximize benefits from the petroleum and energy sector.
Welcome back. In a big win against visiting Cook Islands I2 in Port Moresby last weekend, there are a handful of PNG Kumul's standouts. But for coach Jason Dimitriou, it was PNG Hunters Centre and Rookie Centre Robert Matias. Dimitriou spoke highly of Matias' contribution to the team in the post-match media conference.
A superb performance by the Kumuls to romp home in a big margin win. Winger Elijah Rontinga had the best game of his life, scoring 2 tries, with stand-in captain Lachlan Lam leading the side to victory with some magic touches. Nana McDonald was a stunner in the match, securing player of the match.
Getting a good pass away there from Jack DeBallon, who's back out there. DeBallon again, first receiver. Sends it away. Here's Lamb looking for his second. He's over. I think he's got the ball down.
For Dimitriou, Robert Matias was the best player on the field, considering his debut for the Kumuls after coming through the PNG Hunters system. When appreciating the effort Matias has put in the centres this Pacific Championship, Dimitriou considered that his Kumuls team is among the best squad in the Kumuls history, given the potential and versatility across the park. Dimitriou said the likes of Morea Jr., Sani Wabo, Finley Glare, Robert Matias, Alex Max and Joshua Lau, some of the best young talents in the team, and this will be building a strong team heading into the 2026 Rugby League World Cup in Australia.
Yeah, that's what winning does. It creates opportunities for players. And Nene's spoken of his desire to come back to the NRL, and he's fitter and more committed and more disciplined than I've ever seen him or known him to be. So that's translating on the field. And I thought he had a slow start, but once he got running the ball and got his hands on the footy, he's such a dynamic player. He's been awesome for us at the back, and as I said, he's country team first every time you speak to him, and I'd endorse him for sure if anyone was interested in signing him.
The PNG Kumuls will be playing the New Zealand Kiwis on the weekend in Australia for promotion, and again Matias has been named in the centres. Rex Litter, TV1 Sports.
The promotion-relegation match between the PNG Kumuls and the New Zealand Kiwis this Sunday would rekindle the old rugby league rivalry between the two international rugby league member nations, dating back to the 1980s. In their time playing test matches, PNG's only win from 18 tests against the Kiwis was in 1986.
Yeah, good old...
The last time PNG played New Zealand was at the 2013 Rugby League World Cup in England, when New Zealand trashed PNG 56 points to 10. But under coach Jason Dimitriou, there's belief in the Kumuls camp they could cause an upset to the top-ranked side. 11 years later, the two arch-rivals find themselves at the crossroads of the 2024 Pacific Championships promotion and relegation playoff on Sunday at Combank Stadium, Sydney, Australia. After overcoming a formidable Cook Islands side 42-20 last Sunday in Port Moresby to retain the bowl, Kumuls are quite confident of making a strong statement against a powerhouse Kiwis side. The Kumuls will be out to create history as they muscle their way into trying to win the match, which will enable their entry into the Pacific Cup Challenge. Coming off a disastrous campaign in the Pacific Cup, the Kiwis will be vying to install some lost pride after being beaten by Australia and Tonga to place them down the ladder. Ever since taking up the post as head coach for the Kumuls earlier this year, Coach Dimitriou is confident in his side for a better performance against the might of the Kiwis. Susan Oreape, TV1 Sports.
After overcoming the physicality of the PNG Orchids, the roaring Port Moresby crowd, and humid conditions, New Zealand Ferns captain Georgia Hill expressed joy for the tough win against PNG 36-0 last weekend in Port Moresby.
They wanted to get under that ball straight away.
The Kiwi Ferns captain was overwhelmed by the crowd on game day, saying it was so nice to play in front of such a passionate crowd, even more so the team at Henan Dribble Week in PNG started with a school visit and embracing the PNG culture, which is similar to back home in New Zealand.
Oh, I think firstly, just the crowd itself. It was so nice to play in front of such a passionate crowd. We've had an enjoyable week here in PNG with the leader. We got to go to a school visit. We really tried to embrace PNG culture, similar to back home. And then in terms of the game, PNG, they were so physical. They never stopped trying, and it was a great contest out there.
The Ferns will now regroup and refocus on having another crack at the Australian Jillaroos in this weekend's Pacific Championships finals in Sydney. Hale said going back to process and tidying up on a few effort areas, but proud of their effort to match the physicality of the PNG girls.
Yeah, it's probably just tidying up what we're trying to do. We probably missed a little bit of our detail there. Got a little bit happy towards, the back end. So really just trying to stick to process. But again, proud of our efforts to match and try to match the physicality of the PNG girls.
Player of the match, New Zealand's Ferns wrecking ball back rower Amber Hall was presented the award by her coach Ricky Henry during the post-match interview. It was a surreal moment for the lass, who's a tough competitor and well-deserved. Henry again thanked PNG for coming out to show their culture and enjoying the game.
Just firstly, I just want to sort of thank PNG. They've been awesome hosting us here. Really appreciate it, and we've immersed ourselves in your guys' culture, which has been fantastic, and really stoked to be up here for the first time.
Yeah, it was good. Honestly, I don't know, I'm speechless to receive this award. I think a lot of the girls in my team done well, so I reckon this is a team effort award. But yeah, it's good to be here in PNG and play. It's a bit hot. So shout out to Elsie and the girls for the amazing game that they provided for us.
The Kiwi Ferns will play the Jillaroos in the Women's Cup final, while PNG Orchids face off with Samoa in the promotion relegation match on Sunday at the Combank Stadium, Sydney, Australia. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
2 months of intensive training and preparation by the PNG Kickboxers has ended this week as the team winds down its preparations and is ready for the World Championship fight in Spain later this month from the 18th to the 22nd. President of PNG Kickboxing Federation, Stanley Nandex, said the kickboxers have undergone high-performance training under the guidance of Kaupa Omena and have shown a lot of promises ahead of the world title fight. Nandex said the fighters look fit and ready for their bouts. He thanked the sports minister, the PNG Sports Foundation, board of directors and management of the Kumul Minerals Holdings and others for their support towards supporting the kickboxers to the event. Nandex said the team is expected to depart on the 12th of November via Manila, Philippines. The Moresby South Rugby League celebrates a milestone this year with the staging of its 10th Grand Final this Sunday at the Moresby Southside Stadium, Calgary. MSRL is an affiliate of the PNG Rugby Football League. 2023 Premiers Gavuto Dragons will be out to defend the cup when they go up against New Kids on the Block, Gulfiso Pathway, while in the Women's Grand Final, Gavuto meets Tarama Wolfpack. In the Under-20, Calgary Bulldogs lock horns with Gulfiso.
Since its affiliation with the PNG RFL in 2014, Moresby South Rugby League has continued a successful run in its competition despite various administrative and technical challenges experienced by the clubs over the past 10 years, let alone the setback brought about by COVID-19. Through adversity and setbacks, the league executive led by Chairman Bagalo Solian, with support from Moresby South MP and league patron Justin Kichenko, Moresby South Rugby League is excited to host its 2024 Grand Final showdown this Sunday at the Moresby Southside Stadium.
Also very proud of the effort that all our different teams have put in to get to the Grand Final this weekend. It's not easy. It's a lot of dedication, commitment and responsibility to get to this stage, and I congratulate all the finalists from the A grade, B grade and the women's team as well, most importantly. They will be playing a great match. It will be a great spectacle to see these talented young men and women play rugby league, and hopefully some of those will be also looked at for the future. They could be a future hunter, they could be a future Kumul star, and especially when we're going to be now going into the NRL into the future by 2028. I want this for everybody to enjoy, so let's respect each other, let's have a great weekend, and let's make sure the best team wins.
In the main draw card, newcomers and worthy grand finalists Gulf ESO Pathway embrace themselves to tackle defending champions Gabutu Dragons, who are ready to maintain their supremacy. Both teams have been consistent throughout the season, but the youthful Gulf outfit, led by former Gabutu Dragons under-20 player Daniel Brooks, looking to spoil the party for the Gabutu boys. For Gabutu's keeper Ronald Tom, training has been good this week and ready to take the challenge from the Gulf boys.
Against my former club, and so proud to play with them, and nothing much to say.
I am glad train well, that prepare well, meet him Gulf ESO this coming Sunday.
Terry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
And finally, two-time Melbourne Cup winning trainer Sheila Laxton is ready to take on the world with champion horse Knight's Choice. Laxton, who is still in disbelief, says the horse is a freak, and what's made the win even more memorable, his humble beginnings.
Yeah, the Melbourne Cup writes a new fairy tale, but it'll be hard for future winners to get close to this one. And trainer Sheila Laxton believes it's still just the first chapter.
He's a real athlete. I've never known a horse like him. He's a freak. Maybe he can go on to do, create history like Winks did and Firelap, and who knows.
Knight's Choice is a 5-year-old gelding with a cheeky temperament. Laxton and her co-trainer and husband, John Simons, picked up Knight's Choice for just $85,000, and yesterday he went on to win the $4.4 million prize.
You don't have to be a favourite. You don't have to be from Europe. You don't have to be costing $2.2 million or whatever.
Laxton now has a perfect strike rate in the race that stops the nation, her first win coming 23 years ago. But this one was unpredictable, and it started more than 1,250 kilometres from Flemington in Walker, northern New South Wales, with Norman and Diane Baisley.
It's a bit of a passion. I'm 76 years of age and it's a hobby.
The Baisleys purchased his dam or mum, Midnight Pearl, for just $1,000.
I knew when I bought it for $1,000, I got a bargain buy. The rest is history, isn't it?
A budget buy with a priceless story, but like all good fairy tales, this one needed some magic. And jockey Robbie Dolan delivered.
I don't know, there was just weird stuff happening this week where I was just a bit superstitious that something was going to happen, and yeah, it just did.
Knight's Choice will now have a well-earned break before potentially eyeing a spot in the Japan Cup.
We'll sit down and work out what's going to be best for him in the long run. But as I say, he's pulled up really well, he's really fit, and he's done that on his year. He's just a freak horse.
And that ends the sports segment. Now for the weather forecast with Mary.
Southern, Port Moresby, partly cloudy with few afternoon showers and possible thunderstorms. Daru, cloudy periods with chances of brief showers. Popondetta, cloudy periods with some rain showers and possible thunderstorm. Momase, Ley, mostly cloudy with some rain showers. Wewak and Vanimo, partly cloudy with possible brief showers. New Guinea Islands, Lorengau and Kavieng, rain showers at times. Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe, partly cloudy with few rain showers at times. Highlands, Mount Hagen, morning fog patches clearing to cloudy periods, then evening rain showers and thunderstorm. Coral Seas, seas moderate to patches rough with southeast winds of 15 to 24 knots. Solomon Sea, seas light to moderate with southeast to southerly winds of 10 to 20 knots. Bismarck Sea, seas light to moderate with southerly to southwest winds of 10 to 20 knots. And Pacific Ocean, seas light with southeast to southerly winds of 5 to 10 knots. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border to Daru, Kiwai Islands, Kerama, Yule Island, Hood Point to Samare Islands, seas 1 to 2.5 meters. And waters of Fincha Fen through Vitier Strait to CSC Long Island, seas 1 to 2 meters. And that ends the news this evening. Have a pleasant night. Bye for now.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our people.